We did not come up with death disco. I don't know who was the first person to call us that, but it definitely stuck. And I feel like everybody that writes about us says that we sound like death disco.
We were trying with this project when we started it, especially to do something groovy and dancey, but also dark and goth and scary. So trying to figure out where they meet together, but I feel like that's death disco is accurate.
Jack is very deliberate in like finding these really small nuances, like these things that we'll only do one time, or like one pause that's like a 16th note or an 8th note. Not to speak for him, but that's like a hallmark of what he does, at least in my opinion.
John
for our
gets
music.
so excited about percussion items, and he set up a whole table of percussion when we recorded. You know, we'd be listening back to the track, and he'd just look over the table looking for the right thing, and he'd find some very obscure type of sound, and both him and I know, like, this sound can only happen once in the song. You know what I mean? If it's going to be, like, used to its...
sometimes.
Yeah, or an album, you know, if it's going to be used to the fullest potential. Yeah, I have the most fun spending time finding those little moments.
Especially in a band that has 6 people playing, and a lot of times it's just a lot going on.
When like you're starting making music when you're younger, everyone wants to play all the time, and then you start realizing that removing stuff defines what's happening and what's not, makes it more impactful. So I feel like we kind of like to traffic in like minimalism as much as it sounds like it's a maximalist project. It's like finding like the slot to do one thing and then remove yourself so that other people can, you know.
I would say a great example of that would be the last track on the album, Shockable Rhythm. In the bridge, we originally had drums going through the whole song, and there was a day that Ben and Tyler and Jack all went in to go mix the album. I didn't get there until later, but Jack was like, all right, I need you to hear this. It's going to be really radical. It's going to be weird at first, but I think you're going to love it. And he played the bridge of Shockable Rhythm without any of the drums in it, and it was like, oh, it has to be like this. It's so good. Like, it just builds so much more tension.
Didn't you sample the vacuum cleaner for something for a little bit in the...
Oh yeah, we do have a vacuum cleaner on one of the songs.
There's also the
walkie-talkie with the like
the sound effects
box.
machine.
The
yeah.
cash box sound.
Yeah, a sound from a very popular video game.
Yeah.
We
ripped off.
Yeah.
I like the sample of your grandparents talking too. Is a really good. Like that's the sound, I guess. But that's
yeah.
When we were finished with the record, to sequence it, we went to a record store by my house. We picked up a bunch of random sound effect vinyls and threw those throughout the whole album too. And then John had a recording of his grandparents getting married.
Yeah.
It's at the end of a song.
Yeah. My and Vinny's grandparents when they got married, they had their whole wedding recorded to vinyl, which I've never heard of anybody else doing. It's like 4 discs. And it's kind of weird to hear all the chatter, but at the very end of the first side, you hear the priest. It's the voice of the priest talking to my grandparents, telling them, like, all right, smile really big for the picture, because you're going to have to be able to, look happy for the picture, because you have to be able to tell your grandkids how happy you were or something. So it really stuck out to me. And my grandfather was also very supportive of mine and my brother's musical endeavors, more so than a lot of our other family members. So it was really special to be able to include that at the end of What Do You Make?
We would love to do this for our jobs, and that's the goal, but the biggest issue isn't sleeping in random places or like not being
knowing
able
where
to
you're gonna
see
sleep.
your partner or whatever. It's like it costs it costs out of your pocket every day to eat, sometimes to get a hotel room to sleep, and rarely do you ever recoup enough even to pay like for the gas or the merchandise that you need to make the money for gas. It's completely out of pocket.
It makes it a real labor of love for sure, because there's nobody that would be doing all of this if they didn't absolutely want to do it and like really, really enjoy it. Especially how much, we tour. I think we played 60 shows last year, 62 shows, and like 4 of them were actually in Atlanta. So yeah, touring is hard.
Like every 4 or 5 shows, it's just everything aligns and it's fucking it's a great time.
Absolute banger show that happens.
The
it
bus.
just makes most of it Most of it worth it.
The rat
honestly.
getting the little hit that's not a placebo that makes it
Yeah.
smashing the fucking
Yeah,
button.
yeah.
Also, just like not being there for our regular day-to-day, like most of us work in the service industry, you know, and or do hard labor. Being on tour is like, it's like camp. It's like summer camp, but very intense summer camp. And hanging out with these guys, and it's worth it, even though it can be frustrating.
I think it's like being in the Fellowship of the Rings is like how it feels. Like you all like bring your bags and you like set out on a journey, and there's fraught with danger, and you know that the only people you have to rely on are the people with you, and there's a closeness to that. And it's nice to just be one type of person. Like when you're on the road, you just have to figure out how to eat and how to play and how to sleep. And like life at home is a lot more complicated than that. So that can be intoxicating for sure.
Yeah.
And people obviously get lost in that because it is really nice to just be someone who plays guitar for a few weeks.
We're very lucky that we, especially this many people in one vehicle, like we get along really well. After like a 6-week tour where we crossed an ocean in like 2/3 of the way through it and like still went to another country and then toured all the way back home, like that will kill a lot of bands, especially for the amount of money we came home with. And the fact that we were all still cutting up and laughing on the way home says a lot. You know, chemistry's everything. We're very lucky to have each other.
A lot of these countries that we've been playing in, like especially Canada or, you know, even in Europe, a lot of the countries over there, they'll have these shows that are funded by the government. Again, it just goes back to being able to afford to bring us there and be able to sustain ourselves to do these shows, and having those backings from the government to help them is really big for us for a lot of these shows.
In Europe, it's nice because a lot of the places will give you a free meal and a place to stay, and a lot of the times it's like above the venue.
Cost of living also affects a scene so much. I feel like we'll go to Montreal and the scene there is amazing and thriving. Not to say that the cost of living isn't high there as well, but I think that people have more time and a little bit more money to pursue their passions, art, music, all those things, and you can see it when it's thriving. And then you can also see it when it's completely been demolished or dissipated because everyone's moved out of the city. All the artists, all the cool people are somewhere else where they can afford.
And especially for this band being 6 people, I mean, we are, you know, when it comes down to it, we are a dance band. And if we really wanted to, we could put a bunch of this stuff on a backing track and not have this many people on stage. But our live show is great because these people put on a killer show. And if we were up there doing karaoke to our own music, it would suck. And we like that we don't have a laptop on stage. I like that a lot. That doesn't mean that we're not going to have to do that someday, but like it costs us money. Like bands make the same amount of money no matter how many people are in them. Like that doesn't change. And we sacrifice extra to put on this show. I mean, very early on, we were offered a support tour opening for a duo, and they didn't want 6 people to open for them. They asked if we could do 3 people and no drums, and we turned it down because like that's like a watered down version of what we do. So the cost affects us in a big way, because if we could afford to do 150 or 200 nights a year, that'd be awesome. But until then, we will get to you when we can get to you. But we will get to you.
Atlanta has a good scene. There's a lot of people that care, for sure. And that makes it easier, I think, for bands to consider coming through here, even though geographically it may not make a lot of sense since we're like in the corner of the country. But Atlanta definitely has a lot of people that care, and that helps out a lot, for sure.
Yeah, it kind of feels like whatever kind of music you put on stage, the scene is there to lift you up. It's really nice.
Yeah, and different stuff too, like different things can coexist, which is nice.
Yeah, there's no real like genre defining this city anymore, I don't think.
The more places that we go, the more I realize how Atlanta is really the only city that doesn't feel competitive or like the artists don't get along with each other. Everybody in this city is really supportive, and everybody goes to everybody's thing. Everybody plays in each other's bands. I just don't feel that like weird competition thing. It just feels like a very mutually supportive place. And the more places we go, the more I realize like not a lot of places are like that, if any are like that.
But we'll do a little let's go, 1, 2, 3, do whatever you want. Okay.
I want to say let's go.
Yeah, okay, we'll do a let's go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, let's go.
Let's go.